Welcome to this video on 7 elements to scaling to 7 figures in your coaching or service-based business. So in this video, I'll be going over the 7 simple questions you can ask to identify those specific elements that you need to focus on in order to go from stuck being under 50K per month in your business to scaling to well over 100K per month and beyond. So first of all, why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Lauren Marsh. Over the last 4 years, I've helped multiple 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses to scale their sales processes in many different industries. So it doesn't matter if you're selling home improvement or coaching or insurance or real estate or whatever it is. These 7 areas that I'm going to go over today have been the most important factors when it comes to scaling your sales process and increasing your revenue exponentially. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a detailed breakdown, including showing you exactly what you need to have set up in these 7 areas in order to scale effectively and sustainably without losing your mind. So in order to scale your business effectively, you need to have a process and a system to scale. I've seen so many founders with being disorganized and having no processes and trying to do everything themselves. And so in order to scale, you need to have certain elements. But first, what does that mean exactly? A lot of people don't understand the meaning. So I'm very much into linguistics and the meaning of words. So scaling by definition is the process of growing a company in a way that allows it to handle increased output and workload in a cost-effective manner. In other words, scaling is when your revenue increases without a substantial increase in resources. So if you are at the place where you're ready to scale and or you're ready to hire help in order to do this, first, I want you to understand the differences between scaling your marketing processes and scaling your sales processes, because there are substantial differences. And I think it's important to understand. When I was growing my coaching business in the beginning, I had no idea what the differences were. So even if you know a little bit about this is just going to set the stage for those 7 areas that we're talking about. So if you're looking to hire help to scale your business, you're going to probably be searching out for people, or you're looking at ads, and there's significant differences between hiring a marketing agency and a sales agency. So first of all, we look at the different critical processes in your business. So if we look at your marketing process, that is the process of identifying your target audience, capturing their attention in some way, shape, or form, whether that's an opt-in, a VSL, a webinar, whatever you're doing to capture their leads, those leads, right? And you get that information from them. So someone's opting in and giving you their information. So name, email, phone number. And that is essentially what a marketing agency does. They're heavily focused on scaling so that you can get as many leads as possible. Now, a sales process in the follow on from that is taking those leads, setting appointments, booking those sales calls, and closing the deals. So your sales process is how you take someone from being just a lead into cash. Okay. And then after that, you obviously, if you're at the point where you're making 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month, hopefully your delivery process is already dialed in. So that's not the scope of this video, but just for, our purposes here, the delivery process is you serving the client, delivering those services, giving them an extraordinary experience so that you can have high LTV and retention of that customer in the long term. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to be talking about the marketing and sales processes. So if you're searching out ways to scale your business, you might find marketing agencies that say, we'll help you scale your business, but understand that a marketing agency's job stops when they bring you leads. And I find a lot of people having issues with this, that they have hundreds or even thousands of leads, but 0 closed deals, or very small percentage of closed deals relative to the number of leads that they have coming in. So in contrast, a sales agency's job, and that's what I do, it's we take those leads and turn them into cash. So you have the information from that person, you book a call with them, the closer or the sales rep closes that deal and collects the cash. So I find that most of the businesses I work with, they have a ton of leads, but they can't get those leads to book a call. They don't know what to say. They don't have processes for that to make it predictable. They don't know how to set appointments at a high level to get that person on a call so that they can then run that enrollment call and close the deal. And you want to have, I'll go over some of the KPIs, you want to be closing these deals at least 30% or higher. And I've even worked with businesses where we've gotten that close rate as high as 60 or 70%. So imagine what that would do with your business if, let's say you're closing 1 out of 10, you're closing 10%. What would happen to your business if you could all of a sudden close 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 or higher? That obviously is going to make a huge impact on your bottom line for the revenue of the business, but that's only one part of it. So after I've helped many different types of businesses scale from, having $50,000 months or $100,000 a month and higher, these are the 7 elements that I've found to be the most important when it comes to the marketing and the sales processes and what you need to focus on in order to scale. So let's go through these. So number 1, you must first look at, and this is what I typically do when I start working with a company, is I want to validate and optimize their offer. So ask yourself right now, is your offer or your offer suite, so the multiple different products you have at different price points, is it set up to become a 7-figure offer? And so the things that you need to look at and audit in your business are, what are the price points? What's the pricing model that you have? So let's say you have a $500 product and your highest one is a $2,000 product. Chances are that's not what's going to take you to 7 figures unless you have thousands and thousands of leads coming in order to get the revenue to where you want it to be. So typically, if you are a coach, consultant, or offering some type of high-level service, we want to see a minimum of $10,000 on the high end. So let's say, for example, you have a $2,000 product, a $7,500 product, and a $10,000 product, or whatever. We'd want the minimum of $10K on the high end so that when you hire your closers for your business, you can offer them a percentage that will allow them to make good money on the offer and want to stay with you in the long term because there's so much income potential for them. So I've seen this where the offers might be $2,500, $7,500, and $15K, or even higher than that, or maybe $10K is that cap, that minimum on the high end. Whatever your pricing model is for your offer suite is very, very important because we want the numbers to make sense, and we'll match lead flow and the revenue numbers and figure out how many closed deals you need to hit your revenue goals. But it's much easier when you have higher price points. And with that said, you must have proven results. You must have testimonials and case studies to be able to prove that your offer is worth this much in the beginning. So we're not just gouging people for money or charging 10K because we want to. Is the value there? Are the results there? Do you have a powerful guarantee in place for those people to come into your offer and see the value that you are charging for them? We also want to make sure that you are in a significant profitable niche. And this can sometimes be, most of the time, if you're already hitting $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 months, most likely you are in a profitable market segment. But sometimes when I work with businesses, we actually look at, if you're serving multiple areas, which one is the one that you want to focus on the most? Because most of the time you'll find that 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your clients. And so we want to target what is that profitable market segment. Maybe we eliminate offers. Maybe we optimize the offer suite to serve different people in different stages of that journey. But making sure that where we have the high-end, high-ticket programs, we are targeting people that we know are going to be able to afford it and be willing to invest in it. Next thing is scalable delivery. So this is super important because I see a lot of coaches offering private coaching or even group programs, but they are unable to put an unlimited number of people in those programs. Or let's say you're scaling, you're going to need to add on team members such as other coaches or other delivery support people or client success managers that help with the delivery of that. So is your offer able to be scaled? Because if we start doing 10, 20, 30 deals per month and adding all of those clients into your business, are you going to be able to handle it? Are you going to be able to keep delivery at that high level of quality? Do you also have the sales assets in place? So these are things that I help my clients with. Maybe it's additional VSLs or different funnels that you need in order to properly frame up the offer that you have. And so those are things that we look at in this process to make sure that you have the sales assets in place that properly sell your program. Sometimes also it's important to have those third-party funding options that will help you to offer other options for payment. So I see a lot of coaches who will, or even consultants, that you offer those payment plans in-house, but all the liability is on you. So let's say you're offering a payment plan of $1,000 a month. Well, if that person is paying you, you're only getting that cash up front, maybe $1,000 every single month. But what happens when that person wants to leave, or they're not as invested? Sometimes those people do leave and we lose them as a customer. If you have a funding option in place, what that funding partner will do is they will offer that loan to that person, and the company will actually pay you the full amount minus whatever fees they have. And then the client is liable to paying that company to pay their payment plan over time. So it's definitely important and can increase your conversion rate when you have those different funding options that you're offering your clients. And lastly, in this offer is, what does that client onboarding process look like? If I'm bringing closers into your business, we want to make sure that that onboarding process, that handoff, is smooth and seamless from the sale to delivery. Next significant area to focus on is your lead flow. So is it predictable and consistent month after month to support your income goals? Now, a lot of people will say, well, I'm doing organic content, or I'm making videos, or I'm doing reels, and I'm getting traction, or I'm doing a webinar and I'm selling off the back end of that. And all of those things are great. I don't want you to stop building your personal brand or creating content that increases your value and establishes you as the authority in your industry. However, what I've found is that organic content is not sustainable to help you get predictable lead flow month after month. Unless you're doing the same webinar month after month and you're getting a predictable amount of people in it, that's great. But most likely you're going to need to use the two predictable ways to get leads for your business, which are paid acquisition and outbound. And that's not all of them, but those are the ones that I like to use in my business because they're simple to implement and almost anyone can do it. So paid acquisition is running ads, having some type of VSL funnel or opt-in that someone is, clicking on, entering their information and consuming your content, and hopefully then booking a call with you, getting on a call with one of your sales reps or your closers, and paying to invest in your program. Outbound is outbound reach, so reaching out to people cold or warm on different social media platforms. This one is important for you to do volume in, and we can try. I've tested lots of different ways in which to do that, and finding which strategies work for you, which areas of, which social media platforms are your people hanging out at, and what is the most effective way to reach out to those people and see if they're interested in taking a look at what you're offering. So what I found is that over time, as you do volume, there's predictability in the numbers. And of course, we have to then be tracking all of our KPIs. So the KPIs that are important in lead flow are obviously how many leads you're getting, how many people are clicking on your offers, how much are you paying per lead, how much are you paying per call, how much return on ad spend are you getting. So in each of these elements, I'm always going to talk about KPIs because it's the only way to identify bottlenecks in your business. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But on each of these processes, it's going to be important to understand how many leads are you getting and how many are you then turning into appointments and how many of those are closing. And there's so many steps in between that we can also track with our data. And I'm going to continue down this flow because I'm getting really granular here in terms of the components, but it's so important to tease these apart so you understand what is really required to be able to scale your sales processes. So the next one we look at is your appointment flow. So do you have a dialed in process that allows you to convert a high number of those leads to qualified appointments? So once someone is opting in to your whatever it is, whether it's your webinar funnel or whether it's a VSL or whatever, and they're booking a call, do you have the right booking funnel and sequences? Do you have appointment setters calling them? Do you have scripts for that? Are you making this predictable? Are you making it into a system? Do you have SOPs that you could bring someone in and teach them exactly how to set an appointment for your business? And if not, then this is a huge thing that you need to focus on. Do you have the right software systems and automations set up to be able to scale? And also, like I said before, the KPIs in each one of these elements is going to be super, super important for you to be tracking, because how many leads do you have coming in that are actually booking calls, and how many are booking calls that are actually showing, etc. So there's lots of different KPIs that you can look at in order to audit this appointment flow process. And the appointment flow process leads into the deal flow process, right? So then it becomes, once you get those people on the phone, do you have the right sales frameworks for closing at least 30% of those appointments or higher? So the most important thing here for a closer, if you're doing it yourself, is do you have a script, a discovery script that you're using? And it's not to be, let's be real, right? Let's not use a script to be robotic, but let's use a script to have a framework to know exactly what are the points you need to hit on in order to turn that prospect into a closed deal. So I always use scripts, and then I also, and I'll go over this in the next couple ones, I also make sure that we're auditing that process and we're improving that process and we're learning more about those leads that come in, what they need, what their biggest problems and struggles are, what their big goals and dreams are, and what's in the way of them actually getting the results that they need, and then what's going to help them get across the line to make sure that they can get the result that they want by investing in your program. And so there's lots of things that are incorporated in this, obviously making sure that you're getting enough people to show up for those calls, making sure that you have all the automations and everything in place to increase the likelihood that they are going to show up, and then tracking all the numbers for that. So of those appointments that you set, how many people actually showed? Of those people that showed, how many did you actually make an offer to? Of those people you made an offer to, how many of those people are you actually closing? And then how many of those people that you're closing, how much cash are you collecting upfront, or how many are on payment plans or whatever? And so I have minimums, or the numbers that we'd like to hit, the industry standard, so to speak, or healthy numbers in each of these areas, which if you want to get a detailed audit of your business, just let me know. And we can definitely set that up with myself or my team to where we can look at all these processes in your business and determine where are the biggest bottlenecks, because I'm going to get to this later, but that's what we're really looking for, is where are your leaks in the process? If you look at all of these 7 areas like a pipe, you can see, like if you had an actual pipe like in your sink and you had holes in that pipe, you want to identify where the water is dripping out so you can fix it. And this is really what we do when we scale, is we have to audit each one of these parts, look at where it's leaking, and be able to plug those holes and increase the KPIs, improve those numbers in those parts that are leaking in order to scale exponentially and to scale fast. So next thing we really look at is, so we have, just going back over, we are looking at, do you have a 7-figure offer? Do you have enough lead flow to support getting to 7 figures? Do you have enough appointments to help you scale to that number? Do you have enough closed deals, or do you have the right frameworks to be able to put the right team into place in order to make that happen? So this next area is, do you have the right team to help grow the vehicle? So what we do is we will place setters, SDRs, closers, growth specialists, sales managers in your business to help take a hold of that lead flow and increase the appointment flow, increase the deal flow. And when we're looking for these people, we obviously need them to be coachable A players. We need to have 7-figure talent in order to get to 7 figures. And creating a high quality culture of winners is so important, to have the right team to be able to take the vehicle and get it to where you want it to go. The next area is actually, when you have that team, you have all these systems in place, do you have the right management, training, and reporting for that team to improve, to constantly improve your KPIs? So are those people on your team receiving the training that they need and the feedback that they need? So training is not important. I've seen a lot of people, they give them a training over the first week that they're there, and then they never do anything else, or they never give them feedback on how to improve. That person's probably going to turn over very quickly if you don't provide this high quality culture of improvement, having a management structure in place where you have daily sales meetings, you have daily trainings, and you're also auditing their sales calls. You're listening to them, you're giving them feedback, you're giving them one-on-one coaching, and you have those mechanisms in place to help them continuously grow and improve. And the last thing is, and this is baked into all of the elements, is making sure that you have the right systems that provide you with the right data. Data is the only way that you know where your holes are, where your leaks are, and you need to be constantly tracking and evaluating these numbers in order to optimize for growth. So I call this the growth mechanisms. So if you are tracking all your numbers in all these areas, you're going to know exactly what to focus on. And in that, you need to have these infrastructure set up, you need to have systems set up, you need to have your CRM set up, you need to have efficient data tracking, because then you can turn your business into a well-oiled machine that produces 7-figure data. So like I said, you can quickly identify those constraints and fix them to scale even faster. So just a quick example, let's say you're tracking your KPIs. The fastest way to scale, like I said, is to identify those current constraints. So let's say you are tracking your KPIs, you get 100 leads in a month, you book 10 appointments from that and you get 1 sale. So this one's easy, 10% lead to booking ratio, because 10 of those people booked appointments out of 100, that's 10%. That's okay. We could probably increase that a lot. But here, as you can see, the biggest constraint here would be a 10% conversion rate. So if you're only closing 1 out of 10, this is a very, very easy bottleneck to fix, to increase. So let's say you got the right training or the right person in place that's able to convert at 30% or more. You're increasing your income threefold. So you're tripling your income without having to do anything else, without paying for any additional systems, without paying for additional leads. You're just literally tripling your income from that one simple fix. And that's why the KPIs are so important. If you're not tracking your numbers, then you're not able to make strategic decisions about your business. So, and I could have so many different examples, right, of this, but I think that makes the point that the KPIs are the most important thing. And we can look at the KPIs like this in every one of those areas that I just talked about. So those 7 key areas in summary are offer, leads, appointments, closed deals, the team that you have, how you're managing that team, and how you're tracking the data and KPIs. So game plan from here, if you are tracking with me so far, is to focus on those areas, all of the areas, track that data, and pinpoint the biggest bottlenecks that you have in each of these 7 areas. Identify the lowest hanging fruit and the biggest opportunities. Like I said, if you're tracking all your numbers, this obviously was just a simple example. The KPIs that you track are going to be much more in depth, but when you can identify the lowest hanging fruit, like for example, if you found a really low conversion rate, that would be the lowest hanging fruit that you could focus on to improve your business, to scale your income. And I want to encourage you to implement. Doing this is not an easy task, especially if you're a coach and you're running your business and you're trying to deliver on all the things that you're trying to deliver on and get those great results for the clients. So if you liked what you heard today and you do need help with this, or if you want a team to come in and do this all for you so you don't have to figure it all out, this is exactly what we do in our business. So I have a free training where I share some case studies and show you exactly how we partner with businesses to help them scale to 100K months and beyond, guaranteed, or you don't pay. So it's performance-based. We like to come in and do a sales audit at first, which is basically the outline of what I shared with you in this video. So if that is something that you're interested in doing or want to get more help with, or even just to go through the training and get more knowledge for your own self on how, if you want to do it yourself, you can certainly do that as well. Click the link below this video. Here's the link here, and you can learn how you can get more information about how to do that or have our team do that for you. So hopefully that video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.